in general. Say you're given like, you need to find like.
Find an exact question.
There's one on the assignment, right?
Yeah, I don't want to work with the assignment because these girls haven't done it yet.
Okay.
2 girls haven't turned it in yet, so that habit.
Oh, okay.
So find a question in your book.
Okay.
Go through your chapter review. It's probably be.
It's not, like, the chapter review is really short, like, it's not very good, honestly. Sorry, it's really easy, actually, compared to what the assignment was like.
Do you like maybe 4A on page 142?
142?
Or maybe not. That's close if you want to use.
No, I need one like that was
What are
negative.
you having problems with? I don't understand.
Oh, okay, so like, if you're given like 330 degrees, say,
Yeah,
and you need to find like where it's equal to, would you use like negative pi over 3
no,
to get there?
No.
Negative 30 degrees is equal to where?
I don't follow.
I don't know how to explain it. Oh yeah, okay, 7b on page 136.
Seven B.
Yeah.
So you got cosecant theta is equal to 2 in the domain. So you go once behind it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got cosecant theta is equal to 2, right?
Yeah, that's your sine.
Sine theta is equal to half.
Yeah, so find the sine theta is equal to 1/2 going on the positive direction. So that's at pi over 3.
No.
Wait. Oh yeah.
Pi over 6.
Yeah, pi over 6, and then 5 pi over 6.
5 pi over 6.
Yeah.
So then go once around the circle, so that's 12 pi over 6. So this is then 13 pi over 6.
Wait.
And this is 17 pi over 6. So that would be,
But the domain.
okay, but the domain says up to 2 pi, right?
Yeah, so you have to get rid of your
So
13 pi over 6 and get rid of your.
So this is no good to us, right?
Yeah.
So then
So then.
you have to go around the circle till you get to here. So negative 7 pi over 6 here,
Okay, yeah, that answers my question.
and negative 11 pi over 6 here.
Okay, because if you look at B on the examples, when they did theirs in degrees, like for my angle theta, I found it to be 17.054 degrees. So then I need to.
What page you on, sorry?
Same page.
Same
6B.
page. Okay.
So, like it's.
6B?
Yeah, so,
Well, let's do it, because it's, so I've got secant theta is equal to negative 1.046, right? Because there's a number of us that did this yesterday, this question, had trouble with it. Okay, so then that means that the cos of theta is equal to 1 over the ratio.
1.046.
Okay,
But you
so
leave the negative out, right?
find your reference angle first. It's easier. You can use that negative, and it would give it to you in this quadrant. But you want to find the reference angle, so it makes life easier. So find the reference angle, and this is 360 degrees, right?
Yeah, so it's 17.054.
So 17.054 degrees.
Yeah,
Okay, so then cos is negative here
yeah.
and down here. So 180, subtract that.
Is 162.948, and then 197.054.
Okay, now just stop right there. All right, so once I've found for the full turn, go around the circle, once I found that, now I work with the domain. So if I have to add 360 to it, then I would add 360, or I subtract 360, so that I answer that question. So now my domain is only up to 360, right? So that's once around the circle in a positive.
Yeah.
So now I subtract 360 from this, and subtract 360 from that. And that'll take me to my other two.
See, in the book, they just wrote it as the negative reciprocal of both numbers. So So one answer
They wrote it as what?
so it was like a negative, it's not the reciprocal, just a negative, so another answer was negative 162.948 and negative 197.054.
That's this subtract 360 and that's that subtract
I know, but
360.
do you do that always? Like, I don't know, I just couldn't make sense of
A
it.
coterminal angle. Let's say I have 150 right here. And I want to find all of the other angles that are exactly in the same position. I'm going to add 360 to it or subtract 360 to it. And the number of times I do it, it still comes back to the same spot. So I always do that. I subtract 360 from it or add 360 to it as many times as I need to fit my domain. So on this one, your domain was what, minus 360?
360.
Less than 360 like this, right? That was your domain. So you'd only have to subtract 360 once. But if this domain was like, let's say this domain was 720, then I'm going to subtract 360 twice. And I'll still end up in the exact same position. Yeah.
Do you need to have your reference angle there? Like, you have to draw a line for that as well?
No.
Because for me, I wouldn't have done that because that's in a positive and you want where it's negative, right? So,
Yeah, but then how do you get this guy down here?
well, that's cos negative.
No, it's not. This is.
What cos-
Its cos is negative down here, but how do you get that value if you don't know this value?
You know your reference angle, but do you
Well,
draw
then
a
write
line?
it in there.
I didn't draw a line for it, but
No, you don't have to draw a line for it.
okay, I just
but
have my
you-
reference angle.
You wanna do, this is how I do that question. I write my reference angle. I write quadrant 2, like that. And then I write quadrant 3 like that. So this is how I do that question every single time. Reference angle and then my 2 quadrants that are needed.
Well, I wrote my reference angle. I'll do that like that now. I didn't know that.
And this will be a mark, okay? Because you can't get this guy without the reference angle, okay? You can get this guy if you type this in your calculator, cos of 1 divided by negative 1.406, you would get this angle.
Okay.
The calculator would give it to you. Okay? So you understand what I'm saying here, Dalen? That it's just, once you found it for the first one time around the circle, then just add or subtract 360 as many times as you need to it. And then if it was in radians, I would add or subtract 2 pi to it.
So you never draw new lines, and it would just be
No.
basically
They-
you always have those.
Not
three.
basically, they are the exact, that's what coterminal means. They are in the exact same position.
That's what
So
I was
you
kind of
only
wondering.
have these 2 lines.
I was kind of iffy on one question, but that's what I
Okay.
did. So.
Now, where you could run into more than 2 lines would be something like this. If you had the question that you gave me yesterday, 3 cos theta, 3 cos squared theta is equal to 4. Okay,
Oh yeah.
so I have that.
So you square root 2 over 3.
So, did I do that right? No, sorry, hold on. My bad. This is 4 and this is 3.
Yeah.
So I have 3 over 4 like that, right?
You square root 3 over 2.
Cos theta is plus minus root 3 over 2. Okay? So then that means then I have 4 positions on my circle. Here, 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 and here. Because it's the plus minus. So you would have 4 there. And then if it asked you to find with a different domain, I would add and subtract going around the circle.
Also, okay, one of the questions, I think the answer was like cos 3/4 or something like that. Is that like non-terminal? What I got anyways. Is that like what do you call it? It wasn't on the thing, so I just put like a dotted X. Is that right?
Sorry, I'm texting her comment with Rory.
It was a cos 3/4, so that's not on your pi thing, on your
Correct.
So you just put like a dotted X through it?
Sorry?
You put like a dotted X through it because you can't find it on there?
No. So if it was coast, theta equals 3/4 like this?
Yeah.
No. On your reference angle, either using your calculator, either in degrees or radians,
So you
whichever
still
it
find
is. Okay, and then it's positive down here, and do the same thing. So you would find reference angle, which is in quadrant 1, and the other place that it's positive is quadrant 4.
See, I couldn't find it on here, so what I did was, it's probably not gonna be right, but I put that, and then I put like an X through 3/4, and then I also had my reference angle at my on thing, but I kind of put an X through them because they were on the unit circle. But
They don't always have to be on the unit circle. You're allowed to use your calculator for this.
yeah. Well, so I had them, but I just kind of put an X through that stated they weren't on their unit circle.
Right. Okay. Okay.
One question,
Yeah, go ahead.
like,
Oops. Same one?
yeah, sort of. So let's say it's like a negative 3/4 cos. Cos is negative in the quadrants 2 and 3. So do you always subtract from your 180 and your 270?
Look at it like this, Eli. Okay, so I've got that right there, right? This angle right here is my reference angle, correct? I want to find from here to here. From here to there is how much?
180.
It's 180. So then what am I subtracting off of 180 to get to here? My reference angle. So up here, it's 180 degrees, subtract my reference angle.
And then, what if it's positive? Are you always subtracting your reference angle? Like if it's a negative, you go where your quadrant's a negative. And then if it's positive, you go to the quadrant positive. And is it always like your 360 subtract the reference angle?
It depends if it's sine or cos. Because cos is negative in these two quadrants right here.
Yeah.
So in this quadrant, you'd have 180 degrees plus your reference angle. Right?
So if your reference angle is a negative, then you add it.
No, you don't do your reference angle ever as a negative. You only do it as a positive in the first quadrant.
Yes.
I don't do it as a negative, my reference angle, ever. Because if you do it as a negative, with a cos, it's going to give it to you as this angle here. If you do it as a sine, it's going to give you this angle right here. So when you're doing your reference angle, you never, even if this was a negative 3/4 here, I never punch it into my calculator as a negative. I only punch it in as a positive.
Yeah. But I know, I'm just wondering if it's a cos of negative 3/4, your reference angle is a positive 3/4.
Yes.
So then you subtract the 3/4 for this negative?
No, I find it in these two quadrants here. Let's go through the whole question so you understand what's going on. Okay, get your calculator out. So the first thing you do is you find out what your reference angle is right here. What's my reference angle?
41.41 degrees.
That? Okay. But it wants work, so that I write that down here. I see that cos, the ratio is negative, so I need to find it in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. So let's find it in quadrant 2. What is it in quadrant 2?
Hmm.
138. 6, 9.
Okay. Now what is it in quadrant 3? How did you get it?
270 subtract,
Why are you using 270?
so that's your 300-degree line.
Have we ever used 270? Where's your reference angle located? Right there. You never ever use 270. What is it to here? Add it to 180 to get right there. Not once did we ever in 2 years talk about 270.
So you just, okay.
Okay, you should have had this, you should have this written down somewhere, right at the start of this, Eli. I'm not sure why you don't. It's the same every time,
Yeah, I'm better now.
just like that, right? So your reference angle is always with the x-axis, and you find them using those three. Okay, they're not going to be given to you on an exam, so you got to remember that how you find that. Okay, but don't use 270 ever. Okay, just the same as we never use 90 either. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm just trying on the assignment. The book was a lot easier than the assignment was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Maybe just on the last one, you got in the back. Is it just in the first quadrant or is it all around? Like I just do a triangle in the first quadrant. Is that all you?
The coordinate terminates in the fourth quadrant.
Terminate doesn't exist, right?
No, it means that's where it ends up. It stops.
Ter-
Terminate means it stops going around the circle. So it stops going around the circle in the fourth quadrant.
I definitely read that differently.
Yes,
I definitely read that as it terminates like it doesn't exist in the fourth quadrant.
No.
Terminate.
Because when you
stop.
terminate something, you.
It doesn't exist.
What?
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
That's a terrible wording of that question. Or I
Well,
didn't
get
understand.
used to it because that's the way it's going to be worded from here on in.
Okay, but then.
Terminate means stop moving in that quadrant.
But then,
Terminate means end, right? So it ends in that quadrant.
but that question, it's like.
Yeah, ends in that quadrant
negative
doesn't
of a-
exist.
It's a negative value, it doesn't show up in quadrant.
Okay, look, if you have,
Ugh.
like, it's not that complicated. So if I have 5/13 and y,
Yeah.
right? This can go in two quadrants because the cos is positive, so I can either go in the first quadrant or the second quadrant, correct?
Yeah.
So let's say it terminates in the second quadrant, means it's going around until it stops right there. So now my cos is, no, that's wrong. The only two quadrants is first and fourth. Because cos is positive, right? Let me do this different.
Close is first and fourth. Yeah.
I'll do it the way I want to do it. So I'm gonna go, let's do it this way. Like that. Okay, so now it's right here. There. Sine is 5/13, right? That's my angle right there. Okay, so then what is this? -12.
Oh, that makes sense.
So then what does x equal? As long as you draw your triangle, it makes it.
I just drew it wrong quadrant.
So,
Hmm.
actually, I wonder if we get the same answer technically. Oh, no, it'd be a little off.
No, it's not gonna be off. The negative's gonna be off.
Yeah.
You get the same value, but your value would be negative.
So that being cos, would you not?
So that one would terminate in the second quadrant.
Oh, I definitely read that one.
So,
So this one, it terminates in the fourth quadrant. But there's
Just
two
go all
where
around and draw
coast
it
just
adjacent
off.
to that, yeah.
Yep.
So I just got the negative on it, wrong.
Yeah. Now, there's the other way to do the question. You could have done it this way too. And then solve for x squared there. That works as well.
What I did is just put it in the first quadrant. Like I was gonna put it in the first and fourth quadrant, thinking that like, cause that's two quadrants were close to positive.
Mhm.
But then I just read terminates in the fourth quadrant, so I was like, okay, it doesn't exist in the fourth quadrant, just do the first quadrant.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's,
it's not what I think.
and on the exam, you'll end up with rooted values. It won't always be 5, 12, 13, 6, 8, 10.
I think the one on the assignment was maybe too.
Okay. Other questions? No, it doesn't, Rory. Means it ends. She says it terminates too.
See, maybe you're
Okay.
better on.
She doesn't even have the same, she's getting my bad.
Go look in those purple books, every one of those purple books for me. Can you tell me what the language says?
It's probably that, I just messed up.
What do you mean it's probably that?
Yeah.
12 years, I know what it is.
18 years.
What do you guys got?
That's what I thought. Terminator.
Any other questions?
Hey, have you ever watched the movie Terminator?
I have.
What does he do?
He stops everything.
Stops everything, never does kills her.
Whatever does not exist.
Okay, any other questions here? Rory, you have any questions?
Yeah, but then that thing assignment.
No questions from this side.
You should just turn that live thing off and then ask no questions, look at assignments.
I got a question about the, when we're gone. So like, when we come back, you want us to do 5 and 6, correct?
Okay.
So when we come back, we'll be doing our tests that week?
Well, what I've read this morning is that we can't assess on anything that's supposed to be done over that break, over those 2 weeks. So there's 9 class days. So we got to pace it so that it's reasonable. But in all honesty, we have to pace it the exact same way we're going to do it in the class. Otherwise, if you don't, you're not going to finish the course in time to write your exam.
Do you think they'll get rid of the exam?
I doubt it. Not yet, anyways.
But if you
So,
get it extended
If you don't
longer,
assess on anything that you did in those, so we can't have tests in those.
do
So
you
you
think they'll
say-
push the
It'd be up
exam
to you.
back?
We're not supposed to give assessments on it, is what I just read this morning. So you'd have no tests on that stuff. But
I think I'd rather have at least an assignment on it just to see how I'm
Just
at.
something to boost your, like, you know, if you did fairly well on it, you feel it'd be good to boost your grade on
And
it.
just
Or
ask
maybe
them
do, like,
questions and
because
do
the next one you said was.
well,
pretty hard.
we can be flexible with it. If you guys are insisting on doing something like that, then we can do that. But we're not supposed to be assessing on anything that we give. And we're not really supposed to be doing as much new stuff as what we're gonna have to in this class in order to get ready for that final. So,
Hey, we need a second, I just wanna.
Sure.
Things past you, but it's not super important. You moved your room around.
yeah, I'm live streaming right now. So, yeah, I'll come see you in a second.
So, like, we're, because you said that next thing is supposed to be pretty hard, like one of the harder ones, right? It's kind of based on the trade.
No, not the next one, the one after. Next one's is the graphing one.
Oh.
And then the one after is, okay?
They're long.
Okay. Any other questions? Petra? Yeah.
Page 137.
147, question 8?
137.
137?
I just don't understand what the book is.
It's the same as what we just did on the board here. Okay, so they have cosecant theta is equal to 5 over 3, right? Which means then that sine theta is equal to what? 3 over 5. So I flipped that, right? It says that it has to be between 90 and 180. So what quadrant are we talking? Quadrant 2. Okay, so there's my theta, right?
Oh,
There's 3 over 5. What does that make this right here? For me?
4.
Yeah, I'll add the negative in there just so that I understand that it's negative in that quadrant.
Yeah.
And then you're just filling in all of the trig. So the cos then is, what's cos theta? Negative 4 over 5. What's cosecant theta? Well, we already got that. What's secant theta? Very good. What's tan theta? 3 over negative 4. And what's cotan theta? Yeah, good.
I just didn't draw lines.
Almost all of this section, drawing the triangles is your best visual possible to make it work for you. Okay. Eli, you good? All right,
Oh, okay, this is another stupid question, but on review,
page
on page 145,
145,
question B,
which 1, 2, or 3?
1D, sorry.
1D,
When I
Yeah.
expressed it, like, I know I did this on the assignment too, I went negative 4 times 180 is negative 720 divided by pi. So that number you said we can't do it with a calculator.
okay, so if you wanted to convert it, you can do this one with a calculator.
Oh, but I thought we had to express it without a calculator when we're doing converting between radians and degrees. So I expressed it
No.
as,
No, not, when there's no pi, you can express it as a decimal. If there was a pi there, then you would have to express it as a real number,
So
or
I
exact
went-
number.
so like I went times 180 over pi.
Yeah, okay, so times 180,
Over pi.
Over
So
pi.
I did negative 4 times 180 is negative 170 over pi. And negative 170, oh yeah, you had that right. 720 negative, I can't talk, I'm sorry.
Negative 720.
720 degrees over pi, so that's right, that's correct.
yeah,
Okay.
But you can also do, so that'd be.
so
Or would
you convert it to
that way
degrees.
Or degrees.
No, what I would prefer actually is this. You know that that's pi right there, right? Then this is, what, 3 pi over 2, correct?
3 pi over 2 is 270, no?
So that's 270, so,
Oh wait,
no,
is
no, no,
that pi over 2?
no, I want, this is 3.14, right?
Yeah,
Okay, what is 3 pi over 2?
270.
No, what is it if you use your calculator?
But it's not like a nine.
Just wait, let me explain this for you. I just need this number.
4.712.
4.712, okay. So I'm going backwards because it's a negative 4,
Yeah, I
right?
got that, yeah.
So I'm going this way,
Mhm.
and it's gonna hit right there. Because if it was greater than 4, it would go further, right? And it's just greater than 3.14, so it's gotta be in this quadrant. I'm done right there. There's the answer,
Oh.
okay? If you changed it, what's 720 divided by pi?
229.1.
229 approximately. Now I say, okay, this is 270 here, Dalen, and this is 180 degrees here. So again, it has to be somewhere between those two values.
Okay, because I just expressed this negative 720 degrees over pi.
I think all I want you to do is draw. I want you to draw it. That's what they asked you
So
to
it
do.
just gives you the degree.
Oh, convert each. Oh, my bad.
It just
okay.
would be 229.
This is okay. This is what you prefer for that one. If it says give exact values, you've got it right. This is it.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
it says to 3 decimal places, then you got to do this. That's the right answer for that question.
When you give it.
Minus 720 over pi,
'Cause it's
and the
exact-
degrees will actually count.
No.
No,
it's
it is degrees. It's just not radians, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so you did that right. You have to leave it as the pi value in there.
So I think there's one in the assignment too, but I don't know if it is the one, it's negative 4. But I can't remember if it said to express the decimal places or the exact value.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. Any others? Okay, I'm shutting this down.